Hello and welcome to week 26 of the FUT Weekly Podcast. It's a content episode, and on this one, I'll introduce the guest first before we get into a little twist for this week. We've got 𝘍𝑥LS. Hello.
Yeah, good to be here. Two weeks away, and now we're in person, so it's a bit different.
He's already revealed the twist, so we are recording in person, and we also have video. So if you aren't tuned into the video, you can catch that on YouTube. Also, we'll try and put it out through the Patreon as well. And I can introduce our final guest, who is Richard Buckley. Hello.
Thank you very much, as always. Yeah, not only will you be able to hear my... what's the word? Not displeasure, maybe boredom of Evos, but you'll be able to see it as well, live in action.
Yeah, I can see it now. Josh rabbiting away about Evos as Richard sleeps in the background. But yeah, we're up in the north, which is nice. Rare for me to be up here, but yeah, it's been a nice day so far.
You brought the sun as well. It's ridiculously good weather.
It's been good. And yeah, we can get into it. So as always, we start with pound for pound, but we're going to do last week's pound for pound winner. And we'll get Josh to do that, seeing as he's rarely away. A nice opportunity for him to do it. And as he maybe got some insider trading with his win last week, it was kind of assumed that Kirby might scoop it, but apparently not. Josh did win it. So for last week's nominees, we had Road to the Final 𝘬𝘫, we had FUT Fantasy 𝘭𝑪𝑚, and we had the On This Day 𝘵𝘃𝐾𝐵. So who are you going for there?
So I don't think 𝘵𝘃𝐾𝐵 is going to be in there. I think 𝘬𝘫 is quite difficult to attain. And so, for no other reason, I think 𝘭𝑪𝑚's probably got a win, right?
So it's, definitely nothing about Arsenal.
No. I do actually think he's a really good card, good price. The potential for upgrades is massive. So
okay, well, we'll assume there's been no bias. We've had 2 weeks of dodgy pound for pound winners. But yeah, let's get into this week's pound for pound powerhouse. So let's start with you, Richard Buckley. Who are you going to be going for?
I'm going to go for a FUT Birthday item.
Okay.
One that I happen to pack. I'm going to go for Rabiot.
Okay.
Nice.
I like a bit of a unit in my midfield. I like a bruiser. And not only is he big, he's physical, but he can play. First touch plus, tiki-taka plus. I like the variety that he's got in the midfield. He's also super cheap, like 35, 40k. So I'm going to go Rabiot. He was good for me this weekend.
And what about you, Josh?
Yeah, Rabiot was on my shortlist. I'm going to go with a bit of a weird one, which is the objective Tammy Abraham.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a few reasons why. Because you can make a really good Tammy Abraham from his base card with Evos at the moment, but he's 88 rated, so he's already of a rating that's fitting Evos. I think he can fit in Finesse Express, which gives him a decent shooting boost, and I think a +1 in passing. But his passing is super high in vision and short passing, which is kind of all I really need my striker to do. He's 6'4". I just feel like he's got that press proven plus as well, which, if you're banging aerial balls up to him, he can take him down quite well at 6'4". He's 5-star, 5-star, as all of the cards are now. And apparently that's instantly worth 200,000 coins. So
that's true. So he's already a huge profit
already pound for pound there. And he's got rapid and quick step. I just think he's one of those cards that, right now he might not be the best card to have, but I think there'll be an Evo chain fairly soon, or just a single Evo that makes him very difficult to handle. And if you can get the right I'm going way in the future, but if you can get the right third play style plus on him, I think he could be a real handful.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to nominate someone who is a pound for pound a bit, but it's also more of a review, I would say, because he's someone that I've used a fair bit over, well, I guess, I've been away, but before I came away, I packed him and used him, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, he's 270k, which isn't exactly cheap, but I felt like as a 5-5 midfielder, with all the passing play styles, with really actually quite good defensive ability, he's got intercept and has relentless, and I just found that with his high defensive stats too, he could go box to box really effectively, and of course he does have dead ball plus, which I don't think is amazing, but it's certainly nice to have. And it feels like using a good Trent as well, which is always nice. Apart from when he does like a 𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘃 or whatever. But yeah, he's been really good. And I think that does wrap up pound for pound powerhouse for this week. And we can move in to talking about what has been going on around FUT Birthday so far. I think the first big thing to shout out is that every player released during FUT Birthday, even the flashbacks, which is interesting for Tammy Abraham, you mentioned 𝘃𝗲𝗿 recently, potential pound for pound. They all have 5-star. And we haven't seen that before. And I guess that is good, Buckley. I mean, we like 5-5.
I just ask why. Like, I get that we are trying to celebrate and we're probably trying to somewhat encourage a lot of people back onto the game. And giving a lot of items, people who's not got a lot of coins, you can go and pick up Nicholas Jackson for 30k and have a 5-star striker. But I don't get it. Like, I feel as though FUT Birthday in the past was a celebration. You had quite unique items. Like, I would have rather 5-10 players got 5-star, 5-10 players got a 99 stat, 5-10 players got 3 play style pluses, and sort of having a wider variety, whereas it feels very like, okay, every single player's got 5-star, crack on. And it just, I don't know, it feels like it's lost a little bit of special. Like, it feels like a 27th birthday. I want to be turning 30 or 40 every single year on Ultimate Team when it comes to March. I don't know, it's a bit meh, really.
Very
for me.
Syndrome from The Incredibles. If everyone's super, nobody is.
But I mean, that's an interesting take on kind of, you would assume that, if you're trying to make it a 30th birthday celebration, you'd want to make it really special by having everyone get good stuff. Yeah. But I guess, that shows that it's not maybe all about that, Josh, really, is it?
Yeah, I mean, or you make it a little bit different in that you, as you say, make maybe the top 10 5-star, but then have the promo specific Evo that makes one of the other cards 5-star, and that way they're all still 5-star, but you have to choose which one you want, so it can be someone who's important to your team or your setup or somebody that you packed. It's just a little bit, it does just cheapen it a little bit. Although cheap wouldn't be the word I'd use for, as I'm going to do it for the second time, for the 𝘵C that gives you 5-star, because I saw that come out and I was like, am I missing something? Like, is there other boosts that I've just not seen? Because I feel like we're getting loads of 5-5 through Evos. I feel like most Evos are 5-4 now anyway, if they've gone through enough of them. So why is it 200k for a 5-star Evo?
And for clarity, it's max 89 overall, which is a big thing. I assume you'd say if it was uncapped, then we're talking.
I'd probably be okay with it. Yeah.
I think that is one of the major issues there, because I think it is worth it if you have some Evo player who's probably 89 rated, who's just phenomenal already, right? And you're maybe they're 4-4, but the stats are great and they're amazing, great play styles, then maybe it is worth it. I guess they're kind of selling into the novelty of being able to do that to a player. But then you think, actually, with the Evos we're getting, there are so many opportunities for 5-star on skill moves or weak foot. And actually, the 5-5 is only relevant for the attacking positions, really, in a way, because you'd probably be fine with 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills. In other positions, actually, it feels quite a niche thing. But on the other hand, I quite like that it's an 𝘵C, so you can use fodder rather than it being paid for 200k. I don't know.
Well, they've done it twice now, haven't they? I think there was an icon 𝘵C for an Evo, and now we've got one for 5-star. And I just feel like there's a lot of potential being wasted there. I'd have sooner seen the second FUT Birthday Evo upgrade. We've got the build your own FUT Birthday one as the striker. There's the first one that's free, and the second one's 300k. Make that a 400k 𝘵C, and I think people will be a bit more like, okay, this is cool. But they've been giving away 4-star for free in objectives. Yeah, 5-star's worth 200k.
I also think that cross-pollinating the Evos and the 𝘵Cs, I don't know. As someone who I don't do Evos, it just, that is content coming out at 6 just feels a little bit flat to me. I imagine there's a lot of people as well that just don't particularly care for that. I mean, even you, Josh, who does a lot of 𝘵C, a lot of Evos, sorry,
and 𝘵Cs, to be fair.
It just doesn't. It's just that's it.
I think, and I also think there's a delivery issue there in terms of if you're doing an Evo from an SBC, how do you see what upgrade you're
100%.
getting without going to an
Completely.
exterior site? Which is maybe why like this is what we're getting for SBC
True.
Evos, because it's easy if you're just telling people they're going to make them 5-star and get the tricks to play style, like you know what you're getting. It's just not very good. But I, like in terms of the promo as a whole, it's weird because I think there's elements of it people have really enjoyed, but it feels a bit off. It just doesn't feel quite right. It feels very nostalgia driven, and often in media when things go to nostalgia, it's because they're potentially running out of ideas, and so it's a bit of an odd promo. Like I don't know that we've had a promo where the most expensive card of a normal player, not a hero or icon, is an SBC. Because that's where we're at the moment. Ronaldo's the most expensive card that we've had that's like still playing, just ahead of Leao. And I don't know. I don't know about you. These cards felt incredibly packable.
Yeah,
even though maybe they're not the best ones.
That was a weird thing. I packed a load of them, even though I hadn't saved. I mean, I had saved some decent packs, but not loads. And I got sort of 3 or 4. None of them really like actually better than the team that I currently have. Like, as in they were probably side grades or players that could have an impact, but they're not necessarily. I mean, actually Trent went in, but again, like I was sort of slightly tweaking the way I was playing to kind of get him in.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of an odd one where, I don't know, as someone who does do quite a lot of Evos, I have a team of players who have been sort of built around my play style, if that makes sense. And I've sort of put little Evos on them here or there, got the right play styles for them and that sort of thing. So even though theoretically the face stats might look better on a lot of the birthday players, actually when you drill into the detail, you're not necessarily making the upgrades that you think necessarily. And, I've been focusing a lot on getting 5-star skillers into the team. So actually there's already a lot of players with the 5-star skills, at least, perhaps even the weak foot in the squad. I mean, I guess one player that would be an upgrade, talking about the Cristiano Ronaldo, would be a flashback Cristiano Ronaldo. And interesting, we actually talked a lot about 𝘰𝘰𝘁𝘁 on the gameplay pod last week.
Yep.
And he does have, this Ronaldo, the combination of Rapid Plus and Finesse Plus, which was what was great about the 𝘰𝘰𝘁. And there are some similarities there. Have you faced him yet, actually? It'd be interesting to know.
Only faced him.
You did
Completed him.
Oh, you did it? Okay.
I played him as well.
Oh, you have? Okay. I didn't realize.
I mean, I just don't know what to think.
Yeah. Interesting.
Like, I feel as though he's a player. We always do it like when you complete a really expensive SP or you pack someone really expensive, you just have to play him no matter what. And I'm like, every single time I've played him, I've used him a lot because I knew I was doing this today. I'm playing him a lot. So I played probably a lot of games, Rivals Champs over the weekend, maybe 45, 50 games on him. He's just not better than the players I've got in the team. Like, he's not better than...
Who's he competing with? Yeah, I was going to say.
Team of the year, Smith's now known as Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, she's just so much better. She's better than... he's better... Lauren James is probably better than this Ronaldo when I'm using...
Not a central player, though,
no,
right?
like I actually think Ronaldo's better on the wing, which is very controversial as well. I think he's better coming off the left. The finesse plus is incredible with him. He's rapid on the wing because of his body style. He bullies a lot of fullbacks. I feel so. If we're going to put him in the middle, the centre backs that are strong, he's not quick enough, and he's not got that zap that a quick step plus Wilson has got in the middle of the pitch. I'm going to persist with him. I'm going to carry on playing with him because I have to. I put a lot into him. But yeah, I'm not sold at the minute.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. It kind of makes sense. What chemistry style?
I think is there a way to keep him lengthy?
Yeah, there's a few ways.
That's what I did. Whatever it was, I can't remember what it was.
Hawk or Hunter would mean he's still lengthy.
Yeah, I think it might have been Hunter.
Controlled lengthy, we should say, not fully lengthy. Yeah.
But yeah, I weren't sold. I weren't asking for a refund, but I'm not overly pleased yet.
Yeah, okay. What about you, Josh?
I first saw a review of him when I was like halfway through, but I knocked off like both 90 rated squads and 3 of the 89 rated squads, and I was like, I can't stop now. I like this. I know there's a lot of fodder still needing to be put in, but I can't stop now. And yeah, I'm like, as someone who's used 𝘰𝘰𝘁 a lot, there's levels to this game, and Ronaldo is a level below. But it's also Ronaldo. I do wonder if he'd been in the promo, how much would that card be? Because I think it would be a similar cost to...
Probably a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
I think.
Depending on how rare they made them, I guess.
And so, actually, is it a bad price still? Probably not. Is it going to change your game? I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that he would improve in their teams, but you've got to find the links, and that's not especially easy. And then you've got that thing of like, if he would improve your team, do you have 3 million coins worth of fodder that you can generate in the period that he's around? Because if you did, you probably already have better players because you were grinding through Team of the Year. So he's a weird player. He's good, but I agree. I found putting him out wide, I got more out of him because he's not nimble enough, which Henry doesn't seem to struggle with as much. I don't know if that's a body type thing.
Henry gets better touches.
Yeah.
Like, I found like especially when I was in the close control, I weren't able to shift quick. Whereas out wide, I can just hammer the pace and just run straight at players.
Anyone know why that might be? Any guesses?
You're probably going to tell me like low balance.
I think it's simpler than that. He doesn't have first touch or press proven. Ronaldo. Henry has both press proven and first touch playstyles, base versions.
How much is the best Ronaldo on the market right now, just out of curiosity? Because my thought was, this is the best Ronaldo I'm going to get to use this year. Yeah. I like Ronaldo. Like, I've got no bias to United. If Messi got an SBC like that, I'd have probably completed it as well. Yeah. Like, that was the way that I saw it.
Yeah. So the Team of the Year is 2.7 million coins. So
very similar.
I assume he's probably dropped quite a bit recently because of the he was 4.8 on March the 4th. So
I think if you have the coins, buy the Team of the Year and use that, because his price will go down, but you're not going to lose all of those coins. But yeah, he's one that you kind of just had to complete. Like, he's just one of those, and I've been waiting for a big SBC. I've kept saying how much I had in my duplicate storage, and it was easy, you know. So it's Cristiano Ronaldo. You kind of got to, but yeah, I think he's maybe the theme for the SBCs this week, though, which is probably about 30% more than you'd want to pay for any of them. For some of them, it's a lot more than that. Like the Kai Havertz selection, you can go with a centre mid with no passing play styles, or a striker who's not better than pretty much any other striker people are using. It's a really bizarre.
Yeah.
And for 1.2 million, I think he was.
Yeah, I quite like the 𝘍𝘀, to be fair. No defensive playstyle pluses, which is a shame, but I've used an evolved version for a while, which isn't too dissimilar, and she's really, really good as a fullback. Just kind of not Theo Hernandez kind of level physicality, obviously, but is close in terms of the, ability to make kind of tackles, but also drive your team forward. And I was really impressed with that. And I don't think this 𝘍𝘀 is too different. Obviously, 600k is quite a bit, but it's not like it's a crazy SBC to complete. I think over time, if you're not going to do Ronaldo or whatever, I think 𝘵𝑒𝑛 looks quite good as well. But again, as you say, probably a bit more expensive than you'd want. But
6 play styles.
I was going to say, yeah. But I do quite like. I think 𝘵�ici𝗱 on defensive midfield is a little underrated, actually. So that's quite nice. But good point. I forgot he doesn't. I don't think he has any other passing play styles, so that's a bit disappointing. Alex Scott, I think she's probably actually one of the better ones. Intercept pluses. I think people are really getting on board with the Intercept Plus now, right? I think it is a really important play style. And I think if you don't have Intercept now on defensive players or defensive midfielders, like just the base version, you're really ending up in trouble getting passed around and stuff. So yeah, but it's a good point about Havertz. I guess if people wanted to do a Havertz, you'd recommend the forward one, maybe?
Potentially. I just think he's got better Evo chains. Yeah. I think if you would cared that much about having a Havertz, you probably have already got a better version of him already. Because he's got multi positions, he's been easy to fit into quite a lot of Evo chains that make him quite good. I know quite a few people have an 89 rated version that fits into the 5-star that they'll spend 200k on instead of doing the SBC, which is fair enough at that point. But
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I was going to say actually, funny, I think in setting everything up and getting distracted, one of the players I was going to nominate for £1 potentially was Gift Monday, the player of the month, who has that first touch finesse plus combo, which I think is really nice, and obviously ridiculous pace. I think that's quite good defensive stats as well. Interestingly, 88 stand tackle, but is a striker, and is going to have such good Evo potential because only 88 rated.
I'm pretty sure I nominated her Team of the Week maybe 2 months ago or a month or so ago.
Also have finesse plus, right?
Also win a evolution.
yeah. No, she looks really good, and actually, from another player I was going to mention is, of course, pound for pound is the Ronaldinho, because he has actually dropped to a level that I can afford, which is nice. So I will be booting out my SBC Ronaldinho for a paid version, I think. But of course, I'm sure there'll be Evo potential, right, for that SBC version in August or something.
Yeah, maybe at the end of the year.
There was actually an Evo for Ronaldinho relatively early last year. It gave like Aerial Plus, which was a bit weird, but I think I still did it. Yeah. I think that is sort of the SBC content. Are there any of the kind of players people wanted to shout out? Actually, that's not the SBC content because we've got the gamble packs, which are worth mentioning. But
I'm trying to think. I packed Ruben Diaz.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really good. I thought for the most part. I'm trying to think. I packed a few FUT birthdays actually. Who else I used? 𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘦. I threw in the team. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nice.
Nothing outstanding. And there was one more. Oh, 𝘬𝘃𝗲𝗏 as well. Again, just pretty meh.
𝘬𝘃𝗲𝗏 as a 2-player style plus.
That's a weird combination there. Did you like the Bruiser plus Anticipate plus combo?
Yeah, he just felt a little bit slow.
Okay,
to be completely honest. In those battles, I felt really comfortable pressing circle and tackling and winning the ball. But he, Ruben Diaz. This is Diaz, not Kelly, by the way. Yeah, Ruben Diaz. I think he was good, and I think he'll improve a lot of people's defense for the most part. But he's not end game superb.
He doesn't look better than my Maguire. That's what I'm saying. Actually, yeah. Well, I guess defenders, centre backs who have 86 paces he does and no quick step are now, I think, getting slow, to be honest, with the way the game's changing. So yeah, I can see that. I did mention it just earlier. They've changed it so that the icon pick doesn't include bases, which is quite nice. But it is now 400k. I think that's a bit more than it was before, right?
Yeah, it is quite a bit more. Is it as an 87 288s now, I think, as the SBC. And I think before it was maybe like a 85, 87 and 88. That was the last time I remember doing one because I haven't done one in a few weeks and they kept putting it up. I think people have been asking for bases to be removed for a while. So it's good that they're gone. That was always going to come with a price change. I saw that I think it was 22 players that you can get are above the 400k price and 29 are below, something like that. So it's about in the right place. It just feels worse than when you were doing 200k and going, oh, I've not got anything. Yeah. Well, I'm moving on. I think people got a taste of it from the level 40 reward because quite a few people I saw did the icon pick that was just promo icons, and there was quite a lot of good pulls from that. It's something I'll go for when I've replenished my stocks after using them all on Ronaldo. But yeah, I think moving in the right direction. Still only 87 as the plus, and I don't know how many icons that removes. None, I think, because all
promo icons. None of them would be.
It could just be the promo icon pick. They don't need the 87 plus there. So hopefully we see that rating start moving up and the price staying about the same, just so that it stays kind of relevant. I always think it's a decent place to stick some fodder in if you have got excess fodder, just because everyone loves a gamble,
There's also a bit of Evo potential with some of these now, which is nice. There are some good lower rated icons for sure. So that's nice. Right, I think on that, we'll take a break. I've no idea what we're going to do here, but we'll find out in just a second.
Or some jam tarts.
Some nice refreshments laid on by Josh. And yeah, we'll be back to talk more about FUT Birthday and I guess a bit more about Evos in just a second. Hello listeners, a big announcement. There's a 36,000 𝘵𝑐 point giveaway going on the Patreon right now. So if you'd considered supporting before but perhaps hadn't, it's a great time to join up because there are really good odds of winning that. It's just £3 a month to support and you do get an extra podcast every single week as I say. And at the gold or icon tiers, there's access to the Discord too, where there's loads of great resources and a fantastic community. So if you're interested in any of that, then you can just head over and search support FUT Weekly, or follow the link in the description of this podcast. A huge thank you if you do consider doing so, because it really helps the podcast out and it keeps FUT Weekly weekly, in fact, twice weekly for supporters. Right, let's jump back into this week's podcast. Hello, welcome back after the break. Right, the thing I wanted to dive in first of all is a little look ahead, I suppose, because we know we are getting, and we talked about nostalgia earlier, some what would you call them? I guess Legends of Ultimate Team, I suppose, coming in the next week or so.
I've got Cult Heroes.
Cult Heroes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Ultimate Team Heroes is kind of taken by, like, that's what the base hero is called, but that's really what these are, because if you actually look at their careers, none of Gervinho, Doumbia or Ibarbo really did anything of any real note. So, you know, there are players that don't have special cards in the game from the past that you'd probably go, really?
Yeah.
Well, I like it. I you know.
It looks like they're coming as heroes. I think we've said on the podcast before that it'd be nice if there was just a different categorization of player, right? Kind of just for FUT Legends, basically, but not in the old sense of Legends, right? But, you know, it is what it is. I guess they've got to find a way to add players in somehow, and it feels like maybe it's something they decided to do during the cycle, and this is just the way they're going to do it, which makes sense. Do we know how they're coming in? I think it's Impact, isn't it? It seems.
I've no idea, but it seems like they're coming out as a special version first.
Okay, yeah.
And then we'll have a base hero version after.
A bit like Maradona.
Yeah, I suppose, like, my worry is, where does it end? Like, how many extra players can you add in that aren't playing right now before it just becomes a bit silly? And, you know, in the past we had it where, like, icons got released in batches. And especially like when they bumped up from the versions, you know, the prime version would get released later, or the mid version would get released later than the base. And so now I like it as an idea, but I only like it if it's something that stays as players that are introduced throughout the year, rather than they're all there right at the beginning of the game. You know, if we start next year and you've got Gervinho, Doumbia and Ibarbo as base heroes, that it does feel silly then to me at that point, even though I do like it.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you guys have much sort of attachment to those players as such?
They're going to be terrible, let's be honest.
Surely they're going to give them like Rapid Plus and Quick Step
Ibarbo
Plus.
will be the best because he was tall, if I remember correctly. Like, he will be all right. I think Gervinho and Doumbia are going to be very, very average.
Interesting. I can see that with Doumbia because
Liam Delap's got 99 pace and nobody uses him. That's the equivalent in my opinion. Like, unless they're giving him incredible playstyle pluses, even like 3 playstyle pluses, just making them like the best players at a decent price. 99% of those FUT Birthday items that we just spoke about that are like 20, 30, 40k are going to be better. Like, I just don't see a world in which they can make them good but not super overpowered. I just don't see it personally.
I was wondering whether they might. I don't think they would, because it's a little too much. But if they put both Quick Step Plus and Rapid Plus and gave them 99 pace, and just were like, all right, this is the fastest we can make a player. Here we go. I mean, obviously you got the lengthy factor as well. So if they're either of them, but I think only Ibarbo would be tall enough to be lengthy.
Yeah,
right?
I think the only way they could give them like unique chemistry, which I think is a, because if you think back to those players, like, as you said, they're not heroes. They weren't that good, but they are like, they're ultimate team heroes. They're almost like Streets Must Have Forgot heroes. So it's like, how do you make them special without making them really good, but also making them good enough that people want to use them? I can see a world, especially the heroes that are coming out, if they're coming out as bases, like base Gervinho is going to be 20k. Yeah. Like, no one's going to use him. He's going to be very, very average. So I think it's a real tough balancing act.
I like.
I'm trying to be optimistic. I don't think they're going to be very good.
It's good. I mean, but I suppose is that bad? Yeah. If it's, is it bad if they're not that great? I mean, especially if they're coming as the base heroes and they can't be higher rated than 85, right? They have to all be 85. because then it just starts getting
But
ridiculous.
they'll have a special FUT Birthday version, right? Which is
but they might make the special FUT Birthday version really good. And that might make them, a million coins. But I think it will just be people will want to use them for that nostalgia. Realize that they aren't as good in this game as they were in FIFA 14.
Yeah,
and go, oh well, I'll sell them on and use something else now.
𝘵𝘊𝘆 was literally the only player in the game with as high physical and pace as he had at the time, I think.
Yeah.
And that is just, they could do that again. It'd be interesting to see if they did that.
The game's changed.
But I also think it's not about that anymore, which is a really interesting thing from a sort of gameplay perspective about how the game has changed over time. And it's good because it means that technical aspects are.
I mean, you could even go to like 𝘬𝘃𝗲𝗏, the 5-star cam from like the Swiss league or wherever it was, and actually we're now getting evos that like they're leaning into the nostalgia in that way, and so but 5-5 isn't special anymore. Like it's fine, but it was special back then because you just weren't going to get many 5-star cards.
Yeah, they were like 5 during the cycle or something like that. Like,
speaking of nostalgia, it's in the notes. Who would you want if you could pick someone
to bring back?
Yeah, because I think for me, like when I think back, like that year where it were like 𝘵𝘅𝘆𝑑 that's a throwback.
Yeah,
maybe like 𝘵𝘃𝗲𝗏𝘀𝘁 Richards.
Yeah,
I used to play him centre half on 6chem.
Yeah. No, that is a good one actually.
𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘦, he was part of that Villa triangle, wasn't he? Silva. I don't know, because personally it'd be like 𝘦ci𝗰𝗀𝘀 or someone like one of those bronze players that had 4-star skills from like FIFA 12 that was absolutely ridiculous. In fact, one of them, Tom Bradshaw, has gone on to have like a decent, I think he was at Shrewsbury at times, gone on to have a decent career in the Championship. Like Craig Westcar, I'm pretty sure he's still in the game as well.
Oh, really?
So,
wow, that's
Michael 𝘵𝑚𝑦𝑒𝑡𝑒, maybe a few Brazilians.
I was going to say
𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘐𝑜𝘄𝑒𝘐𝑜𝘄𝑒𝘄
𝘭𝘪𝘐𝑜𝘄𝑒𝘐 would be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are some rumours swirling around that there might be Brazilian League returning next cycle, actually.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Which would be, I don't know, might open them.
Just kick the nostalgia into overdrive.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Silvers are back.
I'll be like, it'll be nostalgia season again. And actually, I mean, talking about nostalgia, just to move us on a little bit, they have brought back those FUT Birthday shells of past FUT Birthday designs, which is, I think, a really nice addition. And what's interesting, I guess people might think it's just literally the card design again, but actually they've had to make them fit with obviously the current way that they lay out stats, which is quite different to how they did there. But they've done quite a nice job. And I think it's worth pointing out that seems like a really popular and good thing for them to have done.
Yeah, it's something that, because I don't think that EA have got skinning right in the game. They've tried to make like an extra revenue stream from kits mainly, or like stadium items. And I think there's a weird route to go down, because I don't touch my stadium really. But the kit most people use is probably like the Manchester United home kit, and that's 450 coins discard on them.
I never see my opponent's kit anyway.
I love the Liga Uber Eats kit. That's what I'm playing every single time away.
But the thing you do see is if someone scores against you, the card pops up on the pitch. Now, if they're in the 4-2-1-3, you don't see their team before the match, but I'm sure that will be fixed. So actually, reskinning a card is probably the right route to go down. The fact that you lose an evolution when you reskin a card is an issue that definitely needs to be fixed. But
just to explain, losing
if you put one of these kind of nostalgic card designs on and then evo a player again, they will lose that card design, and there's no way for you to get it back. Now, there's no rating limit on these, so you can put it on a player that's not going to fit into an Evo. I've seen a lot of people do Ronaldo in one of the old style ones. Virgil van Dijk looks really good in like the X style style one.
So Salah as well for the X, because he had a birthday card that year.
And I think I think it's awesome. And I will probably spend 300,000 coins, because I think we're going to get 6 years worth of FUT Birthday designs.
I mean, a lot of people have done them as well. Like I've been playing them a lot. Like I think that's one of the ways to know that it's been popular.
I'm a little bit strange. I tried putting Emi Martinez in. Why can't you do goalkeepers?
Yeah, because they clearly have just not coded goalkeepers in Evos
into it
at all.
Yeah. Like my team of the year, Emi, would have looked great.
Well, a lot of people were asking about that with timed Evos, whether that meant that goalkeepers could be evolved. I think I said last week, I just think that is something to do with the way that goalkeepers act quite differently within the game kind of coding.
Yeah.
They're just not something that it would be easy to do that with. Potentially we'll see at some point. It's quite sad seeing people with full Evo teams where, the goalkeepers obviously, I mean, often it's just like an icon, so fair enough. Like that's kind of fun. But yeah, it does kind of ruin certain elements of Evos for some people. But yeah, on the nostalgia of the birthday cards, I think that's a really good thing. It's great they've added that. And I guess we've been kind of like negative about some of the stuff around FUT Birthday earlier. Is there anything that people want to kind of shout out as good changes or new things, I guess?
It's weird that I think those Evos are the best part of FUT Birthday. Like, I think they're the thing that's made me go, ooh, nothing else has. Now, we're getting good evolutions at the moment, I think. I don't think they are... I think we've had worse Evos, but they seem to be more paid than not. We're getting fewer, I think, free evolutions. And we're now having that bunching effect at about 90 rated, where everything's getting up to that 90 rated, and then you can't put more in. There's also weird things going on, like, I think it's the centre-back Skiller Evo. You can only have one playstyle plus. It's like, if you're building an Evo team, how many of your players don't have two playstyle pluses at this point? And especially when they released, like, the week before, the centre-back Evo that gave 𝘵𝘱𝑝𝗍𝗍 plus as a second playstyle plus. It's like, well, don't give me those the other way around. Like, let me have one of them and not... It's just really... Yeah, Evos are in an odd place. I see more Evos in people's teams than I think we did last year by a factor of 3 or 4. But I feel like there's always that point that we hit where they're maybe not quite as good as where the packed power curve has gone or the SBC power curve is going.
I think when you talk about the positives, my gripes with the FUT Birthday promo were very personal to me. Like, there wasn't a lot in there that got me excited. I was playing clubs with someone last night and they were saying I jumped on, I had 280k, and I went and bought 7 FUT Birthdays and were loving life. Like, nearly all my team were 5-star. And I'm like, that's what it's there for. That's what the promo is there for.
Yeah.
Like, it's for people to come on who maybe you pack one, you see him, you don't have a lot of 5-star players. Like, we are super hardcore. And I think what this does with the nostalgia, with everyone getting 5-star, it is a very, like, come back in, see what's happened sort of promo to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with the Evos as well. A lot of those will basically boost a player who's kind of any rating up to a 90, right? That's kind of part of what they've been doing recently. And I think that is actually much better for, users who are not on all the time, who don't have, players around who they've evolved up to sort of 86, 87, who they can then add their extra boost on top of that, and really kind of like, finesse a really good Evo player, which I think a lot of us do. So for those players, just be able to be like, oh, I really like this player. Okay, he's going to go up to this point, and then all the stats are going to go up to this, like, cap. It is quite nice. But actually, from my perspective, I've not particularly liked the evolutions, because I know that they're not allowing evolutions for the 90 rated players, and so many of these end up at 90 that I know that player is sort of dead to Evos for a bit. And also because they've been adding these little Evos, you're locking them out of doing these little Evos, which give a nice little playstyle boost, or I guess at the moment skill moves and weak foot.
Or even the passing and dribbling ones from like the friendlies and stuff. And obviously I wasn't here last week, so I didn't really talk on the friendlies. I loved it. I thought it was really good. But if we're going to start setting the limit at like 89 and 90 for where Evos are going to, don't then in the friendly modes not allow me to use my 89 and 90 rated players, because it's like that's where I feel like I should get an advantage, because I've got this juiced player at 89 or 80 or 90 rated, because I've put the effort in. And I don't know. We are in a weird spot with them, but I feel like the moment we go up to 91 or 92 rated Evos, people will start loving them again.
Talk to me about this Evo, the 𝘵𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗏 birthday.
Yeah.
Evo, the 300k one, the free version, and then the 300k one. I had a look at it. I had a little dabble. I saw it.
Hear from an expert.
And I saw I could put a 𝘵𝘗𝗏𝗏 in.
Yeah.
So I still got him.
Yeah.
And I've not done it yet, but I probably will do that. But like, I mean, I just see it and I see if it's something that's worthwhile. What were the general like consensus on that? Like, was it appreciated, or was it like the free version and then the paid version?
It's another paid attacking Evo for a lot of coins. And I know that attacks like sells better than defense or midfield, but I mean, we had the 250k attacking Avalanche one at left wing and striker. We had the Team of the Year one that was right wing and striker. And now we've got another one that's striker that's, 300k. And it's like, can midfield get a bit of love or wing back or something? But in terms of the Evo itself, I do think it's pretty good. Like, I do think for the value that you're getting, I think it goes to 92 rated, 5-star, which is worth 200k in and of itself, apparently. And, I think you can get good cards. It's not super chainable from low down. I can get 𝗲𝗄𝘅𝘀𝘁 in the Toon Squad Evo, then into both of the FUT Birthday ones, and that makes him pretty fun all around. But yeah, it's decent. It's just it's a bit cookie cutter for that like high level evolution. I think the only thing that's different with this is 5-star. But I think the Team of the Year right wing one, the blueprint one was anyway, wasn't it?
It was 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think the thing that bugs me a bit about this one is that the cap for dribbling, I think, is 90, isn't it? And that at this point on a forward player feels a little low.
Sure, a lot of options.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's quite open in some ways, but that, I don't know. I was looking, I think you sort of want a player with higher pace, sort of like, maybe even mid 90s or just early in the 90s, I suppose, so that you can then put something like a marksman on so that they'll, get high dribbling, because I think the actual dribbling stat itself being around 90 is just not going to feel that great at this point, especially if they're a more physical player. That would be, I think, really awkward. So I don't know. Yeah, I think there are definitely good options, but then I'm saying all this and actually you got to pay, what is it, 300k?
Yeah.
Or 1,000 FC points, and you compare it to Team of the Year blueprint, and it's, I mean, compared to where that was relative to the power curve versus this, it's a huge difference.
Well, also like 300k, the amount of players that you could go and buy.
Your mate's going to be mopping up.
You could just go and buy like a really, really good right-sided player.
Yeah.
From FUT Birthday, it's already got 5-star for that price.
Yeah. But I would say actually just doing FUT Birthday 1 for some players seems to work quite well. Yeah. Because especially if they already have the weak foot, then they're fine. And also we're getting plenty of things with little Evos, I think, which will help with that. And it's worth pointing out, I think we do have a few smaller Evos at the moment, right? The Trickster and Skill Moves upgrade. We're seeing Trickster quite a bit, which maybe we'll come onto on the Sporter episode, because we can talk a bit more about how to utilize, I guess, FUT Birthday players to some extent. But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to mention on the Evo front? I guess the glow up one?
Yeah, the silver glow up. I mean, I like the big boosted evolutions, but it's not. I don't think it's brilliant. I think 𝘱𝗪's maybe the only one who looks decent through it.
Restricted in terms of regular play styles is always the problem there, right?
But also, I think it never boosts enough to make the card good enough to go up to that 90 rating. But it is one that you can, or that you will hopefully be able to chain. Because there's so many restrictions now that you might not get that ability. I do think on the Evo front, it's probably worth talking about King of Egypt.
Oh yeah.
I saw a lot of people tweeting on, I think it was Wednesday, going, God, EA are so lazy with their content. Like, they've just re-released the same Evo. It's like, no, they made a mistake with the first. We weren't supposed to get an Evo. And so I think it was supposed to allow right mids as well as right wings.
Right mid, yeah.
And so they were like, okay, we'll release a second one, still, for the 75,000 coins or whatever it was. That
it's just right mid.
That's just right mid. So it's opened up some more interesting paths. And I think it was a good evolution anyway. So I'm happy that it's there twice. But yeah, I mean, two Kings of Egypt, Marmoush arrived,
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about that actually is I think that they made a slight error there, because if you look at some of the players who can go in who have right mid but not right wing, I don't think they sort of power curve tested right mid, or maybe they did and realized it was a bit strong, so removed right mid and forgot to update the description, because there are some pretty crazy Evos. Like, I think there's a really good 𝘂𝗏𝗏 one if you did the 𝘂𝗏𝗏 SBC. 𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘦 looks pretty amazing. Like, there are some super strong players. I mean, the boost on 𝘂𝗏𝗏𝗏 particularly is just wild. I think he goes up to like from 83 or 4 pace, I don't know, low 80s pace or something like that, to like 92 pace. And obviously you don't want the finesse plus, but if you put him through something else, which gives another playstyle plus first, it's kind of ridiculous. So I'd look out for that. Actually, it's worth, I guess for a lot of people, there's the number of paid evolutions is going to be starting to pile up almost. And, I think that's something kind of worth discussing in terms of evolutions. I guess that argument would be they can make them stronger, and when you complete an SBC or you buy a player, you're forfeiting some value to get that. Evos have been, maybe they could say, quite generous because there's been good free Evos, and over time, I've got some free players. None of those evolutions were paid at all, and they're like amazing players, which you don't really find elsewhere in the ecosystem. But it still feels like, I don't know, like you just have to make a tougher decision as soon as it's paid, don't you? You're not just going to go do it. And if you're trying to evolve a player up to a level, let's say you're just trying to get them towards, reasonable usability before putting them in a more powerful Evo, having to spend to do that part would feel quite bad. But we have had bench boost, I guess, which was in between. It was a sort of pre-evolution.
Yeah, it was okay. I think they've done enough in terms of chaining. I mean, we talked about that Maradona when he first came out and said it might be worth not like holding on and just seeing what you can do with him. And now you can make him 5-5. But actually, even up to the 89, you could have put him through the dribbling boost, the passing boost, the shooting boosts from the friendlies, and then put him through 5-5. And actually, was 𝘭𝘪𝘳𝘍𝑑 or whatever it was called, was that worth it? Because it's not taken long for you to be able to create a fairly decent Maradona card.
I actually put mine through the 99 dribbling Evo, the 77. So I now have this 77. Well, it's 79, I guess it would be now, with 99 dribbling. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll have to do some of these skill move weak foot ones. I might even do that SBC for the crazy price just to make him 5-5 as well. I think
that's who's completing it.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of people say that they're completing it, and like,
if you've got a good Evo
player, if it fits for you and you think it's worth it, or you've got the fodder and you're not using it on anything else. Like, I know for me, I'm so heavy in my Evo teams that actually I don't really use my fodder on that much else anyway. So maybe it does become worth it. I did just want to pick up on something you said though about like the coin cost racking up. It's interesting that it's not that long ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, there was no place in the game that you could spend coins and not recoup some coins. Like there was no place that you could just put coins and they were gone. Whereas we then got untradeable packs. So that was it. Those coins are gone. It was only players. And now you've got Evos as well, which is just pure like burn your coins. You're never getting those back. It's interesting to see the kind of rise of those things maybe as something to try and control the market from an EA perspective.
Yeah, I think that is... Maybe there's a coin sync element to it. I sort of wonder whether it's maybe just realizing that people don't want to spend coins on tradable players, and what else can we give for people to spend on that if they don't feel store packs are good value, which I think is a decent way to do it. And obviously, part of the reason is because they want to recoup some actual money, presumably from people doing these kinds of crazy Evo teams, which are increasingly good. It's going to be interesting to see how things pan out as we head towards Team of the Season, which is now, it could even be like as little as a month or two away, I would say.
Like April, probably.
The season is, not too far. So it'd be interesting to see what they do after FUT Birthday, because it feels like, I don't know, FUT Birthday has always been quite good as a way to keep people engaged, because there's just, get nostalgia out. And, they've always done skill move weak foot stuff, which is always quite popular. I think it becomes more challenging after that. But I think there's been some good stuff. Is there anything else people want to mention before we wrap up on Birthday?
Not particularly.
No, I like, it's always been, I think, a promo that 16 coin pack.
Oh yeah.
The inflation from the 10 coin packs, like Freddo's, is getting out of hand now.
I blame the tariffs.
But no, that was nice for people to have. I think saw quite a few decent 16 coin packs. I know 𝘵𝑚𝑐 recorded a video that I've got to edit where he just started with a 16 coin pack and saw what he could then get, and had a pretty crazy team after 6 hours. So it's always nice that it's weird, because Black Friday is usually companies giving back to you, and then on birthdays you usually give to the person whose birthday it is, and it's the other way around, and we get nice things for free. And I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm interested to see where the second week goes. I'm surprised we've not had a crafting upgrade SBC yet. We've got the 483 by 10s every day, and the 85 player picks as well. We'll see what the kind of repeatable upgrade is that we get tonight, because then we've got the 82 plus combo at the moment, but we tend to get new ones on Monday as well. So be interesting to see how the second week goes. And I think usually second weeks of promos drop off. I'm not sure there's much room to drop off from the feeling of FUT Birthday at the moment. So hopefully that means the only way is up.
Well, I was going to say, I think one of the issues they've had in the past with 2-week promos is kind of keeping the momentum going. And it's fair to say this hasn't, I mean, there's been some cool stuff, of course, but it hasn't kind of smashed it out of the park. So maybe, you know, going into week 2, they step it up. Because it's been interesting this cycle. They've done many more 1-week promos, which I actually think is quite good. I think it keeps the momentum kind of going and people, I don't know, churning out in the final week because they feel like they've, I don't know, had enough of a particular campaign. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to wrap up.
One more thing.
Yes.
Fantasy upgrades are beginning to come through.
Oh yeah.
Because we're in the second game week for a lot of them. So the 2 wins. I think there's a few people who are quite close to 10 goals as well. So it'd be worth keeping an eye on those, which could also help with the momentum a little bit through FUT Birthday, because we'll be getting some boosted players that get that 99 stat one. I think is going to be the one to keep an eye out for.
He's going to get the 99 stat.
Is he already? Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's funny though, with the whole 5-star skill moves, a weak foot boost now, it feels a little bit like, that's pretty much just bringing them up to par. Maybe not even that actually, because of them being a lot of them being 5-star, 4-star, right, rather than 5-5. So yeah, that's interesting. Well, we are going to be continuing to record. We're going to do a supporter episode, and we're going to make it a bit more freeform, I guess. We'll chat about a few things. I do want to cover a couple of gameplay related elements too. So I guess a reminder that if you are not yet a supporter, then do support. You'll get double the podcasts over on Patreon. Just search Support FUT Weekly to join up. And it has been great to have you all along. So yeah, thank you very much to our guests here, JoshXLS. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun to do it in person.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's been really good. And to Richard Buckley as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah, it's been good. And so thank you very much to all you listeners out there listening in. If you're catching this on YouTube, I guess an extra reason to drop a like and leave a comment because you've seen us in the flesh.
Because these faces are worth likes.
Yeah. And you can, of course, also catch the podcast on the various podcast feeds, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. And if, as I said, you'd like to become a supporter, then you can do that over on the Patreon. Just search Support FUT Weekly. A huge thank you to all you supporters supporting the podcast, including, of course, those icon patrons. Dave B, Darren W, Hugh J, Rob W, Brent P, Ralph, Josh R, Brian, Michael B, Adam R, 𝘵𝘀𝘁𝗍𝘳, Make Ballet, Michael H, Andrew P, Adrian B, Rob S, Michael K, Neil P, Jake S, Tom B, Alex M, Alan G, L, Lee A, Chris G, Dom P, Rob P, Roger D, Dan W, Waterman, Also Ran, and 𝘵𝘂𝘁. Plus a special thanks to Luke M, Dave B, Hugh J, Tom M, Darren W, and Pato Foot for advice and production assistance. Before I leave you, just one more thing to add though. Ultimate Team is a bit like life really. It has its many ups and downs. If you're having a few more downs than ups in real life in these more difficult times, then please don't feel that you're alone or need to struggle on without taking action. If you go to thecalmzone.net, there's loads of resources, advice, support, or even just a friendly chat for anyone who needs it. If it sounds like it could help you, then head over to thecalmzone.net. And for now, have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next podcast.